everybody, let's practice. So here's what I'm going to do. On the first video when we talked about lines and spaces, I gave numbers to each of the notes I wanted you to identify. I hope you've kept that piece of paper. If not, you can go back to that first video and number your paper, because I'm going to actually number these as 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So on your piece of scratch paper, go ahead and write those numbers, because we're going to label these notes together. So remember, the first thing we have to do is decide whether or not the note is a line or a space. This note number 5 is a space. So which tool do we use? Do we use Every Good Boy Does Fine, or do we use FACE? If you remembered that in the space there is a face, then you might also remember that this note is F. So next to number 5 on your scratch piece of paper, write the letter F. Now, note number 6 is right here. So the first question we have to ask is it a line or a space? So we have half the note above, half the note below, with a line going through the middle. So it's a line. Now, since we know it's a line, are we going to use FACE or are we going to use Every Good Boy Does Fine? You're right, Every Good Boy Does Fine. So put your finger or your pen on the first line with me and count every good boy. Okay, so number 6 is B. That's right, we can write it right there in the note. Now, number 7, let's see what it is. Line or space? If you said line, you are correct. Let's start from the bottom and go Every Good Boy Does Fine. Yes, number 7 is F. Now, number 8, it has a line above, a line below, and so we're going to use in this space, there is a face, FAC. Now that means I can write the letter C next to number 8. And number 9, it has the note above, the note below with a not line in between. So that's a line, so we're going to start with Every Good. So that starts on G. Okay, so number 9 is a G. So if you need to, pause the video and write those answers down, because we just did that together. That was our practice. Now we're going to come over here to this next one. Now before we do this one, I'm going to show you a secret code that musicians have been putting in the music for centuries. It's amazing. I mean, I use Every Good Boy Does Fine and FACE, but there are times when even the music teacher has forgotten those little helpful hints. But fortunately, composers were really smart folks, and they put a secret code in the music. So watch this. Here's the secret code. A long time ago, whenever people used to write their letter G's, they look super, super, super fancy. Kind of like a treble clef. Now they just look like G's. But look where this treble clef is pointing. Right here on the second line. So guess what? Anytime you see a treble clef, you're 100% sure that the second line is always G. I want to trace that again because I think you might have missed that. Looky here. Always on a treble clef, the second line is G. So if you already know what G is, and G doesn't change because on a treble clef, the second line is always G, you can just write a little G right there next to your treble clef. And then, because our musical alphabet is a pattern, which note comes after G, which would be higher than G? You could write an A in the space and a B on the line. Looky there. What's that note? It is a B. And you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to write a number 10. So write a number 10 on your paper and put a B next to it, because this note right here is a B. So now let's see. I know that G is on the second space, so therefore I can figure out that A is next, and then B is next. What comes after B? A, B, C. Oh yeah, C goes here. A, B, C, D. You're right. Number 11 would be D. Awesome sauce. Good job. Now, again, because I know that G on a treble clef is always the second line, I can go G, A, B, C, D, E. What is that note? It is an E. So number 12 is an E. And then looky there. G is still on the second line because I've got a treble clef in front of me. So this note must be an A.